Hi friends, we have finished with the permanence or the planetary winds in the topic of winds. That means we started with the study of winds. We started with the study of pressure belts. Pressure belts, the outcome is winds. We studied three types of wind, or we differentiated winds into three types. The first type was planetary or the permanent winds. The second type, if you remember, I said is the seasonal wind, and the third type, if you remember, I said was the local winds. Now, studying further, we divided the planetary winds into three major types of wind. That is trade winds, westerlies, and the polar easterlies. That is the planetary winds or the permanent winds. Why they are known as the planetary winds? Because they blow all over the surface of the earth, or they blow over the entire planet earth. That is why these are known as the planetary winds. Now, further we studied the trade winds and their belts, and the pressure belt associated, that is the subtropical belt where they originate, which is a high pressure belt, and the intertropical convergence zone, which is a low pressure belt, where they both the trade winds come together. Also we studied the laws of the winds, that is the Coriolis force, frictional force, and we have studied the rotational of the earth also. Now then, westerlies. Why we know now what are the westerly winds, what are the different types of the climate which is produced due to the westerly wind. That is the Mediterranean type of a climate. We studied that in the shifting of the pressure belts. Also, for your preliminary examination, you know now that why the westerlies are known by the different names. For example, here furious 50s and shrieking 60s at the 60 degrees south latitude and the 50 degrees south latitude, also as roaring 40s at the 40 degrees south latitude, because they blow with a greater speed. Now, why do they blow with a greater speed? That also we know that they blow with a greater speed because the southern hemisphere being dominated by the oceans, they do not have an kind of a resistance, a uniform surface, they do not have a resistance, and therefore they blow with a great speed in the southern hemisphere. Now, after that we studied the polar easterlies, and as such, as I told you, the polar easterlies not that much important for our geography, for our exam point of view, though obviously geographically they are important, but not from the exam point of view, because the only thing is they originate in the permanent high pressure belt. Why I said permanent high pressure belt? Because this is the only pressure belt in the world which does not shift along with the northward or southward movement of the sun. The second thing is the westerlies and the polar easterlies converge to form frontal zone. What is a frontal zone? That we have studied already. What are the fronts? We will be studying after the end of humidity topic, which will come soon after the wind system. Then these are the permanent winds. What are the two different types of the winds? Because the question comes generally in the examination. If you have gone through the past year questions, they will ask you classify the winds and describe the permanent winds. But one of the most common question is what are local winds, and describe at least any two types of local winds, or any three types of local winds, or they will ask you the classification of entire wind system, and they will ask you to write in detail any kind of a local winds. That is for the mains examination, and as I always specify, if you are studied well for the mains examination, then prelims is bit easy, because here we will be studying in not only two or three local winds, we will be studying one land and sea breeze, a kind of a local wind. We will study mountain and valley breeze, another kind of a local wind, and we will do numerous local winds, at least 6-7 important local winds in the world, from which the questions generally come in the examination. And because though there are numerous local winds, but we are going to study what is relevant to us from the exam point of view. So the local winds. But before I start with the local winds, as I told you, winds can be classified into permanent or planetary winds, seasonal winds, and local winds. What are the permanent winds which blow all over the globe? What are the seasonal winds? These are the winds which blow only in specific season. What are the local winds which are located only in some specific locality? So world as a big unit, seasonal winds, they may blow all over the world, but they are more or less classified only to a particular subunit, and they blow according to the seasons. Local wind is still classified into the smallest unit, that is the location, a specific local location, out of which these are the local winds. And hence, because this is a factual data, a bit interesting data also, we are going to study this in detail. Now coming to this seasonal winds, these are the monsoon winds. Before I go to the local winds, I am just giving a passing reference to the seasonal winds, because from our exam point of view, we are going to study only one seasonal wind, that is the monsoon wind. So what are the seasonal winds? These are the winds which blow according to the season. As you know, even in the today itself you must be reading the newspaper that there is a rainfall in Tamil Nadu, while the rest of India is having a dry climate, but Tamil Nadu is facing a flood. Or sometimes back, the most part of India was under the influence of some kind of a wind which used to bring the rainfall. Unfortunately, this year there was no rainfall, and it is kind of a drought, farming crisis, which will relate to it later on in the Indian geography. But what I want to say here, that is India comes under the influence of two types of winds. One comes from the southwest monsoon, which we have done in the previous chapter, that is the shifting of the pressure belt. So what are the winds which blow India? One which comes under the influence, one which blows from sea towards the land, that is during the summer season. We have southwest monsoon, and the other kind of a wind which blows during the winter season, which does not give rainfall to entire India but only to the coast of Tamil Nadu. Now why it gives only to the coast of Tamil Nadu? Because you can see it is blowing only in Tamil Nadu region from sea towards the land. So this kind of, during the winter season, we have, what is the direction here? Northeast monsoon. So we have northeast monsoon, we have southwest monsoon. So we can see there are two kinds of a wind system there. That is, in fact, India comes under the influence of two different kinds of winds. During the summer season, the wind comes from southwestern side. We call it as a southwest monsoon, which brings most of the rainfall to India. While in the winter season, India comes under the influence of northeast monsoon, which originates on the land in the northeastern part of a country, which is mostly a dry wind because it originates on the land. So thus India sees a seasonal change in the direction of the wind, and the change in the direction of the wind is around 180 degrees in India. Therefore, such kind of a wind is known as a monsoon wind. As I already told you, what is a monsoon? Monsoon means at least 180-degree reversal in the direction of the wind. So there is a complete reversal in the direction of a wind. That kind of a wind is known as a monsoon. Now, Indian monsoon blows under the influence of seasons, and therefore it is the monsoon winds is the best example of a seasonal wind. So the second classification of the wind is seasonal winds. And what are the seasonal winds? These are the winds which blow according to the seasons. They are known as the seasonal winds, and the example is the monsoon wind. Now the third important classification, as I have told you, we will be studying Indian geography and we will be doing the Indian monsoon in much detail over there. So I will skip this. But if the question comes on the classification of the wind and give an example of any one type of a wind, you will generally write because the word limit is 150 these days. So your answer you will have to choose between any kind of a local wind. If the question is so general, if you try to write monsoon after classifying, monsoon itself is a huge topic. So I am taking it as a separate. But for a general idea of what is monsoon, you can just refer to the previous lecture of shifting of the pressure belt. There I have told you how ITCZ shifts to the north and to the south, resulting into monsoon climate in India and also monsoon type of a climate in northern Australia. Therefore, these two regions of the world get monsoon kind of a climate. Coming to the third classification, the third kind of winds are local winds. What are these local winds? Local winds are the winds which blow over a small part of a world. They are, you can say, subjected, or they are confined only to a particular locality, and because they are confined only to a particular locality, these are known as the local winds. Now the local winds are further classified into land and sea breeze, which obviously will be confined to the coastal regions. That is, the first kind of classification is land and sea breeze. The second kind of classification is valley and mountain breeze. And the third kind of classification is some of the important local winds of the world, which are famously asked in the preliminary examination as well as in the mains examination. So here we are going to study three different kinds of winds: land and sea breeze, valley and mountain breeze, and another important local winds of the world. So first, the third classification of local winds, that is, these are the winds which are confined to a locality. Because they are confined to a locality, and unlike the permanent or planetary winds, they do not blow on the entire surface of the world. These are known as local winds. Local winds can be seasonal winds. This can be permanent winds, but this can be seasonal winds also. Okay, so you don't go too much into detail. For example, in India, Lu is a local wind. Lu is a seasonal wind. Seasonal wind because Lu local wind. Why? सिर्फ नॉर्थ इंडिया या इंटीरियर पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में लू एक्सपीरियंसेस लू. व्हाट इज अ लू? वेरी वेरी वार्म विंड जो पीक समर्स में आफ्टरनून में विच ब्लोज इन इंडिया causing it, and it what is the significance? It is so fatal. It causes even death of many people, especially to who are exposed to the loo. They get sunstroke and they die. So it is an example of a both seasonal wind and local wind. But as I have told you, we'll go to that in Indian geography. And seasonal wind, because we are doing world geography, so I am not taking an example of a loo which more comes properly in the local wind. सीजनल विंड हम एक कॉमन ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड का एक कॉमन सीजनल विंड ले रहे हैं विच कवर्स अ लार्जर पोर्शन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड एंड ऑब्वियसली मॉनसून fits to our example. Now coming to the local winds, they are confined to one locality. They are classified into land and sea breeze. They are classified into valley and mountain breeze. They are classified into another important local winds such as Chinook or snow eater, Fohn or snow eater, Harmattan or doctor wind, Sirocco or blood rain, Mistral which is a cold wind, Blizzard which is a cold wind, Buran which is a cold wind, Norther which is a cold wind. So these all different winds we are going to study in this lecture. And at the end of the topic, I am telling you your wind, that is, if once you watch this entire wind section, now wind is important for both preliminary exam, mains examination. Preliminary examination, open any year's question paper, there will be at least one question from the pressure belts or from the wind belt, which are both related topic. Mains examination, question can be there, classify the local winds which have been asked. What do you mean by Sirocco and Mistral? What do you mean by land and sea breeze, and what do you mean by mountain breeze? What do you mean by temperature inversion? Where does it occur? That is, it is associated with the mountain breeze. So these are all related topics which you will be able to answer. So again, before I start, important for both preliminary examination and the mains examination. And I don't have to tell you the importance of monsoon, which can be asked even for the essay paper also. So before that, before I go, just have a look at the board, and now we will start with the local winds. In the local winds, we will first do with the land and sea breeze. Now, coming to what you mean by land and sea breeze. That means there is a kind of a wind which blows on the land, which blows from land towards the sea or from sea towards the land. Now, let us study the mechanism, how it goes. Imagine a coastal area in the world where there is imagine these two coastal areas. If this is one kind of an coastal region, This signifies the land, and while this signifies the amount of water or the sea level. And this is a sea level. Now we know that there is a difference in the rate of heating of the land and sea. Why the differential rate of heating in the land and sea? It is because of the difference in the specific heat of the land and sea. Coming to it late, we have already studied, and if you want to study in detail, you can look into your science and CRTs, because then it goes out of the purview of geography. Now see, this land and sea breeze, there is a differential rate of heating of the land and sea. This we know. What do you mean by differential rate of heating and cooling of the land and the sea? Means the land and the water do not get heated or cooled at the same time. What we have known, the land gets heated quickly, gets heated as well as cooled very quickly, or we can just write quickly. On the other hand, the sea or water gets heated and cooled at very slow rate. At a very slow rate. Now the difference lies with due to the specific heat. Now during the daytime, sun is in the upper atmosphere, so which will get heated faster, land or water? From this line we know that during the daytime the land gets heated at a faster rate compared to the water. During the daytime, the land will get heated at a faster rate as compared to the water. That means this land will get heated, and when the land gets heated at a faster rate as compared to water, the water will be, conversely, it also means corollary of that is the water is at a lower temperature as compared to land, because because of the sun's insolation, the land is getting heated quickly as compared to the water. Water will take some time to get heated up. As a result, low pressure center develops on the land, and conversely, high pressure center develops on the sea or water. So therefore, wind always flows from high pressure to low pressure, and therefore the wind will flow from water towards the land. So during the daytime, there will be a wind in the form of a wind from sea towards the land, and such a wind which blows from sea towards the land, what will you call it? We will call it as a sea breeze. So sea breeze blows from the sea towards the land during the daytime due to differential rate of heating and cooling of the land. This is a kind of a local wind. Now during the night time, the same land which is there, it will get now you know that the land gets cooled also at a faster rate. Why? Because there is not much cloud cover on the land as compared to water. Water retains heat, moisture retains heat. Land does not retain that much heat. Land is not heated up to a greater depth, while the water is heated up to a greater depth. So till the time, during the night time, water takes some time to get heated up. Agar land gets maximum heated up at 2 o'clock, 12 बजे सूरज सबसे ऊपर होता है. It is high noon. At 12 o'clock, land gets heated up maximum between 2 to 4, while the water gets heated up maximum after the land gets heated up. So over the period of time, water will take some time to get heated up. So during the night time, when the land becomes cool, water is still relatively warm because the water cannot lose heat that quickly. As a result, what will happen here? There will be a low pressure center on the water and high pressure center on the land. As a result, what wind will blow from this high pressure center towards the low pressure center. Now, because the wind is blowing from land towards the sea, this is known as a land breeze. When does the sea breeze blow? It blows during the daytime. Land breeze blows during night time. So the sea breeze and the land breeze, sea breeze blows during the daytime, land breeze blows during the night time. Why does it blow? Because of differential heating of land and the sea. So this winds blow due to the differential rate of heating of the land and the sea. Now we will write it later on. Now you can see in the morning, that is during the daytime, there is a breeze from sea towards the land known as sea breeze, while during the night time there is a breeze from land towards the sea which is known as a land breeze. So morning में अलग direction of the wind, evening में अलग direction of the wind. Again it is an example of a monsoon wind. Why? Because monsoon is complete reversal in the direction of the wind. So this is a monsoon is not just कि rainfall जो जून जुलाई में होता है, that is not monsoon, that is our layman's definition. But what do you mean by monsoon in geography? Complete reversal in the direction of the wind. 2014 preliminary question. What do you mean by monsoon? So many people made mistakes. Don't make mistakes in such simple questions. Okay. Now coming to such land and sea breeze which blows, one blows during the day, other blows during the night, दूसरे दिन फिर से दिन होने के बाद sea breeze, रात होने के बाद land breeze, and such a cycle will keep on repeating. Such kind of winds are known as diurnal or daily winds. So what do land and sea breeze represent? We will write here the land and sea breeze represent. Land and sea breeze represent a complete cycle of diurnal winds. Diurnal winds. What do you mean by diurnal winds? Diurnal winds, nothing but they represent a complete cycle of daily winds. So this word means nothing but daily winds. It means daily winds. Diurnal means daily wind system. So they represent diurnal, complete cycle of diurnal winds. Now why does the sea breeze blow? The sea breeze blows because during the daytime, we will write it here, the sea breeze during daytime, land is heated more than the sea. Heated more than sea. Why it gets heated? You can mention it in the answer, because of the difference in the nature of heating of land and the sea. Because of the difference in the specific heat Again, remember my words, and as I told you, each and every word becomes important. You can check that from the past year questions. Why there is a difference in the heating of land and the sea? Because of the difference in the specific heat, difference in the nature of land and the sea. So during the daytime, land gets heated more than the sea. As a result, low pressure center develops over the land, and high pressure center develops over the sea. Over the sea. Therefore, the wind blows from sea towards the land as sea breeze. As sea breeze, and you already know the diagram for it. I will just mention the diagram again, so that, see, again, these are very simple diagrams, so obviously you are expected to draw such diagrams in the examination. And as I told you in the examination, sea breeze, you can label the diagram. You can label this in the examination. Now, what is the land breeze? During night time, the land gets cooled at a faster rate as compared to water or as compared to sea. Therefore, breeze blows from high pressure center over the land towards the water, towards the ocean, towards the low pressure center over the ocean, over sea as land breeze. As the land breeze. Here, the diagram you already know. That means there is during night time there is a high pressure, there is a low pressure here. Therefore, the winds will come from high pressure towards the low pressure as sea breeze, as the sea breeze, and you can label. Now I am going to ask you some of the question. Which will be the dry wind, land breeze or sea breeze? Obviously, the land breeze is dry because it blows from land towards the sea. It is a dry wind. While the sea breeze, which blows from sea towards the land, it obviously is a moist wind. It obviously is a moist wind. So, the land breeze is dry, sea breeze is moist. Now, the third point, if the question comes on distinguish between land and sea breeze, everyone knows this is the basic answer. But how to fetch a good marks, or how to fetch marks more than the others? You will have to include something more. So, the point may be it is a moist wind, it is a dry wind. You can just write it down because of the board here, I am just mentioning. The second point can be it is a moist wind. Which one is a moist wind? Sea breeze, while the land breeze is a dry wind. What is the third point? What is the difference between the climate of Chennai and Mumbai versus any of the interior? For example, Delhi, for example, Nagpur, or for example, you can take Bangalore or any of the city which is located in the interiors. In Mumbai or Chennai, the winters are not very cold, while the summers are not very hot. It is not extremely hot like northern India. That is, in Mumbai, you won't see the climates crossing 40 degrees Celsius. Now today, because of the urban climate, urban heat and all, we get the feeling of 40-45 degrees Celsius, but what is the actual temperature is not very hot, not very cold. While in northern India, which is located away from the sea, example Delhi, which is located very much away from the sea, we have extremes of temperature. Winters are extremely cold, 4 or 5 degrees is common during the winter season, while summers are extremely hot, temperatures crossing 45 degrees Celsius. Now this is known as extreme climate. Why is this there? Because the coastal cities, Bombay is an example of a coastal city, Chennai is an example of a coastal city, they experience equable climate or moderate climates because of the daily influence of land and sea breeze. If during the summer the land gets heated at a very high rate, then the sea breeze blows from sea towards the land, making the temperature much moderate. And during the night time, a cool wind blows towards the coastal region from the interiors, making the temperature moderate. So that is why the temperature remains equable. But one characteristic is there, the temperature remains moist or warm. So therefore the third point is, due to the daily influence of land and sea breeze, due to daily influence of land and sea breeze, temperature is moderate, or we can say equable, in the coastal regions. So this is the point. Why? Because in the interiors of the world, on the other hand, the interiors, which interiors? Continental interiors, experience extreme type of a climate. Extreme type of a climate. So this is the general influence, this is the practical application, why the coastal climate is more equable while the continental interiors have an extreme type of a climate. As I told you, the cities of Mumbai or Chennai, they experience daily land and sea breeze, while the interior of Delhi, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Nagpur, or any other interior city, they will experience extremes of climate because they are far away from the influence of land and sea breeze, while these coastal regions have daily influence of land and sea breeze, therefore they experience the equable type of climate. So this is the third point, and you can underline the important words in your answer due to like daily influence, that is diurnal winds, they are equable in the coastal regions, and if the word permits, you can write this also. On the other hand, the continental interiors have extreme type of climate. So the question can be, define land and sea breeze, or what do you mean by land and sea breeze? Okay. So with this, we have finished one section. Now what is a land and sea breeze? Again I will repeat it. Land and sea breeze represents the daily wind system or diurnal wind system due to differential rate of heating and cooling of the land. During the daytime, the land becomes heated at a faster rate as compared to the adjacent ocean. As a result, low pressure center develops on the land while there is high pressure on the sea. Therefore, the wind moves from high pressure towards the low pressure as a sea breeze. Sea breeze being originating on the sea and coming towards the land, it is relatively moist. On the other hand, during the night time, the land gets cooled at a faster rate while the ocean is having a high temperature. As a result, on the land there is high pressure while on the adjacent sea there is a low pressure. Therefore, the wind moves from high pressure center on the land towards the sea as land breeze, because it is originating on the land, so land breeze, because during the daytime it is originating on the sea, so it is the sea breeze. कैसे याद रखेंगे? Only just remember the diagram with high pressure, low pressure. It is just pure logic, pure science. That is why climatology sometimes is very, very scientific. Now, what is the characteristics of land breeze? Unlike the sea breeze, it originates on the land and therefore it is dry. Third point, because of daily influence of these winds, the coastal areas do not experience extreme type of a climate, which is a characteristic of continental areas. So this explains the land and sea breeze. Now next topic is the other one, that other daily wind, that is the mountain and valley breeze. Now coming to the second type of a local wind, which is a valley breeze or a mountain breeze. As you can see in the diagram, again either it flows from the valley towards the mountain, or either it flows from mountain towards the valley. Again, it is a nature of diurnal wind, means it is a kind of a daily wind which either blows from mountain towards the valley, that is either it blows down the slope, or it blows from valley towards the mountain, that is up the slope. Now, understanding how this wind system works. Initially, during the daytime, if we take the first diagram, during the daytime, the slopes of the mountain, which are at the higher slopes of the mountain, that is the upper parts of the mountain slopes, are directly getting the insolation. That means they are getting direct insolation, the sun's rays directly fall on them. As a result of which, the valley, the mountain slopes, the higher slopes of the mountain become hotter. On the other hand, you can see here the valley floors, they are shielded away from direct sun rays. If this is a sun rays, it is coming directly on the upper parts of the valley, while the lower parts are shielded or protected away from or protected from the slopes of the mountains. Protected from the direct amount of insolation. That means the upper part of the valley floors, that is this part of the valley floors, the upper part, this is just for your understanding, they get direct amount of insolation. The upper part of the mountains, they get direct amount of insolation. The sun's rays fall directly on them, while the valley floors are shielded. They may be having a dense forest, they may be having steep slopes, so as a result the sun rays directly cannot go. Again, very logical, that is the narrower the valley, more shielded it is. Broader valley, it will be shielded because of the shadow from this one or the other side, or because it is covered by a dense forest, so there may be numerous reasons that it is a shielded. Therefore, because of direct insolation, the upper parts gets heated up, results into development of a low pressure, while the lower parts remains relatively cool, resulting into formation of a high pressure. So there develops a low pressure zone, and down in the valley there is a high pressure zone. Therefore, the wind moves from high pressure towards the low pressure. Or we can say, during the daytime, the wind moves from valley towards the mountain. So during the daytime, there is a low pressure center created over here, while there is a high pressure center created in the valleys. What is the reason? Because of the direct insolation, the upper slopes of the mountain get heated up as compared to the valley floors, and as a result, differential heating results into high pressure at the valley floors during the daytime, while there is a low pressure on the upper slopes of the mountain, and therefore the wind moves from valley towards the mountains. Such kind of a wind which moves from valley towards the mountain is known as such kind of a wind is known as a valley breeze. So what is a valley breeze? What is a valley breeze? During daytime, due to direct insolation, the upper parts of the mountains slopes, or you can write mountains, get heated up, resulting into formation of a low pressure belt, resulting into formation of low pressure belt. On other hand, the valley floors are comparatively cooler, therefore high pressure belt develops. So what we are writing here, during the daytime, that is during this time, valley floors are comparatively cooler because they are protected from shade. As a result, there is a formation of high pressure belt. On the other hand, at the top of the mountains, there is a formation of a low pressure belt because they get direct amount of insolation. Therefore, and wind, low pressure belt develops, and therefore the wind flows from valley towards the upper slopes. As valley breeze. As a valley breeze. So the wind flows from valley towards the upper slopes as a valley breeze. So what is a valley breeze? It is a wind which blows during the daytime due to differential heating and cooling up of upper slopes and the lower slopes. It is a valley breeze. And what is the nature of this wind? It is an upslope wind. It is an upslope wind. It is an upslope wind. That means it blows from valley floors towards the upper parts of a mountain. Therefore, it blows upslope wind. So it blows during the daytime. There is an valley breeze, and during the night time, as we already done, because the upper part of the mountain are not covered by clouds, the atmosphere is very less. There is no vegetation. Water vapor is very less. Therefore, the upper parts of a valley, they lose their heat, or we can say the upper parts of the mountain, they lose their heat very quickly. We have already done this as compared to in the temperature inversion. So during the night time, what happens? This upper parts of the valley, because they are not covered by clouds, they do not have much of an vegetation. This vegetation, cloud cover, etc., is concentrated only at the lower parts, while the upper parts are not having much vegetation, not having much atmosphere. Therefore, they lose the heat very quickly. As a result, high pressure develops because the heat is lost very quickly. On the other hand, at the lower part of a valley, at the lower slopes of the valley, the heat is not lost. If you remember, as I told you, why the heat is not lost? It is trapped, it is radiated back, it is trapped, and it gets trapped in the lower part. So it gets reflected, it is trapped and gets trapped in the lower part. Therefore, this results into a low pressure or warmer temperature. It results into formation of an low pressure belt. And as a result, during the night time, wind should blow from high pressure to low pressure belt, and as a result, during the night time, the wind blows from the upper parts of a mountain towards the lower parts. That is this cold wind which blows from upper parts of the mountain towards these lower parts. In the end, what will result? In the end, this cold wind will come and settle down, and it will result into cold air below, because it is coming from both the sides, and warm air above. Now, such a process, we have already done a topic, it is known as a temperature inversion. So, the temperature inversion is caused due to breeze which blows from mountain towards the valley floors. When does it blow? It blows during the night time. Why does it blow? Because the mountain slopes lose their heat very quickly as compared to the valley floors. Therefore, there is a differential heating. The valley floors are having high temperatures, while the upper parts are having low temperatures, resulting into formation of a high pressure belt. Yahan pe there is a low pressure belt. As a result of this differential pressure belt, the wind blows from this high pressure belt and comes downwards. This cold wind comes and settles down at valley floors, resulting into cold and frost-like conditions at night at the valley floor. So, as a result of this, there is a process which is known as a temperature inversion occurs, in which there is a cold air below and warm air above. ये समझ में आया? Cold air आई कहाँ से? It has come down the slope. So what is this breeze? Because it originates from the mountain, as I told you. Any breeze or any wind, it has the name or source of origin is the name of a mountain. Here source of origin is the name of a wind. Because it is originating on the mountain, it is known as a mountain breeze. So what is the characteristics of a mountain breeze? It is a cold wind which blows during the night time, resulting into inversion of a temperature. As a result, what is the human conditions? What is the applications? As a result, people do not settle. There are no farming areas, no settlements in middle latitudes, in the high latitudes, at the valley floors. कहाँ रहते हैं लोग? People stay here on the People then generally stay here at the sides of the mountain. They cut down the sides of the mountain, what we call as a terrace farming or terrace cultivation. So, human settlements, hotel industry, everything is located at the slopes of the mountain, while valley floors are avoided for human settlements. So, coming back, what is a mountain breeze? Blows during the night time, the upper slopes of the mountain lose their heat very quickly. As a result, they have low temperature as compared to valley floors. Therefore, wind blows down the slope from mountains towards the valleys. breeze. As a mountain breeze, which I am writing now as a shortcut, mountain breeze results into inversion of temperature. Therefore, valley floors are avoided for human settlements. And agriculture, especially in middle latitudes and higher latitudes. Especially in the middle and high latitudes. So what is a mountain breeze? It blows during the night time. Now we will revise it again. Now this is a breeze which blows during the night time. Why does it blows? Because the upper parts of valley, unka heat is lost very quickly. As I told you in the initial diagram, वहाँ पे atmosphere कम है, वहाँ पे air की density कम है, वहाँ पे water vapor is less. As a result, they lose their heat very quickly. On the other hand, in the lower parts of the valley, heat gets trapped, and therefore, during the night time, this becomes warm and this becomes cold, and therefore, wind flows from high pressure belt, which is above, towards the low pressure belt, which is below, as a mountain breeze. As a mountain breeze. This mountain breeze will in the end result into inversion of a temperature. Why? Because the colder air is stronger, it is heavier, and therefore it pushes away the warm air above, resulting into inversion of a temperature. What is the nature of a mountain breeze? It blows during the night time from the upper slopes of the mountain. It blows down the slope, and it results into inversion of a temperature. And we have done this topic, inversion of a temperature, in detail. Therefore, inversion of a temperature results into formation of a frost, and therefore this frost is harmful for agriculture activities, it is harmful for plants, it is harmful for fruit cultivation or horticulture. Therefore, human settlements are avoided in the valley floors. They are generally on the upper parts of the valley, but exactly valley floor pe human settlements are avoided. Now, if a person from Kerala says that no, it is not in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu or in the peninsular India, we are having human settlements at the valley floors, then what I am teaching is not wrong. What I mentioned, where is it avoided? It is avoided especially in the middle and high latitudes, not in the lower latitudes. In the middle, that is temperate region, या subtropical higher region, या high latitude मतलब polar regions में, if there is human settlement, it is generally at the top of a mountain, not at the valley floors. Here you remember that I am not talking of peninsular India. I am not talking of hill stations or forests in the peninsular India. I am talking of higher latitudes. So we will revise this. What is a valley breeze? Valley breeze is a breeze which blows during the daytime. During the daytime, it blows up the slope, because during the daytime the valley floors are cold while the mountain slopes are having high temperature. Therefore, the wind blows as a valley breeze. Because the wind originates in the valley, आप थोड़ा logic लगाइए. Valley wind blows from high pressure to low pressure. Valley में high pressure कब होगा? When the temperature is lower. कब temperature lower होगा valley में? During the daytime, because sun rays do not directly fall on the valley floors. On the other hand, during the night time, exact reversal of a condition, higher mountain slopes become very cold, while the valley floors में heat, जो भी heat है, it becomes trapped, because it cannot lose the heat very quickly, and as a result, pressure conditions are reversed, temperature conditions are reversed. This becomes very cold. That is, the mountain slopes become very cold, resulting into formation of a high pressure, and the valley floors become low pressure because of high temperature. As a result of this, wind, heavy cold wind, comes down the slope as a mountain breeze during the night time, resulting into inversion of a temperature, and therefore the human settlements are avoided. So this is the second type of a local wind. We have done the sea breeze and the land breeze. We have done the valley breeze and the mountain breeze. So before I go to the other kind of a local winds, again from the preliminary point of view, I am revising it because the mains, I think you will be sufficient with this answer. So first, starting with the sea breeze. It blows during the daytime. What is its condition? It is moist. Land breeze. It blows during the night time. What is its condition? It is a dry wind. What is the outcome of this? Its outcome is equable climate. In which regions? In the regions on the coastal regions. Equable climate in the coastal regions. On the other hand, the other kind of a wind which we did is mountain breeze. And valley breeze. Mountain breeze blows during the night time. Valley breeze blows during the daytime. What it is the nature, it is down the slope, it is a downslope wind, and it is an upslope wind. What does it results into? This results into inversion of a temperature. What is the human application? Therefore, human settlement avoided on the valley floors. Therefore, human settlements are avoided exactly on the valley floors. So this is what we have studied. Now you remember, keep in your mind, that is sea breeze during the daytime, moist, land breeze during the night time, dry. It results into equable climate. Now the mountain breeze is down the slope, valley breeze is up the slope. Down the slope mountain breeze results into inversion of a temperature. Down the slope कब आएगा? When there is a low temperature in the upper part, and that means high pressure in the upper part, which obviously means low temperature. ये कब होगा? ये रात में होगा, दिन में नहीं होगा. रात में क्यों होगा? Because of the quick loss of the heat through the mechanism of radiation. So as a result of this, so therefore the high pressure develops and the wind comes down the slope, while valley breeze is up the slope. Now before I go to the next topic, that is the other important local winds in the world, you again revise this lecture very properly and keep this in mind. Can we say these winds, especially the sea breeze and the land breeze, as a kind of a local monsoon wind? Yes, we can say, because what do you mean by monsoon? It means complete reversal in the direction of wind. It occurs here, therefore we can say it is a kind of a local monsoon wind. So we'll continue with the local winds in the next lecture. So till that time, again keep on revising. Keep in mind the keywords, because in the preliminary examination they will confuse you by mixing the words. Okay, till the time we meet, thank you so much.